Hello survivors, I'm the Survivalvis, and welcome to a special episode of Carnivores Genesis REDUX Check-In. Now it's been a while since we've had one of these videos, but Saurian Target and his team have been very hard at work with Carnivores Genesis, and the most recent development that has kind of gone through with the mod has been something very, very special. So there's a kind of like different engine that's sort of being worked on and programmed by Oli, O-L-I, called the Modders Edition engine. It's basically going to open up a lot of the Carnivores, just possibilities really, because there's new behavior packages, you can tie animals to the maps, more animation slots. It basically completely revamps and opens up so many doors for Carnivores modding and everything with it. So Saurian Target just recently got a hold of me to say we've gotten the first sort of build of Genesis Redux into the Modders Edition engine. Would you like to check it out? Or check it out for your viewers? Of course, that's a hard yes every time I can. So we're going to take a little bit look here, and I do want to go over a few things first, because, again, these aren't going to be available publicly yet. There's still a lot of work to be done, a few things to figure out, works to settle, stuff like that. And one of the first things that I know some people like doing is going into the RES files to try changing some, like, values in that. Probably when it does eventually get to public release, be very, 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 very cautious about any additions or changes you make. Because of the Modders Edition engine and how that operates, it requires very specific coding within a lot of different files, and messing with that a little too much, like removing a comma, changing a decimal, it can really wreck the whole thing. So it's probably advised to just play any mod with it how it's originally meant to be for its values. I admit I did go up to change the account value up quite a bit, just so that way I can actually show off a bit there. And even that, I had to be a little bit careful of what I was really working on, so whenever it does come public, it definitely one of the mods just to play as intended with the price values there. The Modders Edition engine, a lot of stuff is a lot more complicated and a little bit finicky, but that's how coding is. So do keep that in mind. Some other quirks, I do have a list up here to read, so the mod can get a little laggy and run a bit slow at times, but it's more like a little load issue that once that's done, it'll pick back up in pace. It's not going to be the entire thing as you're playing. Think of it more like almost if you're playing an online game, it's like a lag spike, and then it's back to normal. That, of course, might be smoothed out, might not be, but it's just something to be on watch for. Another thing is the mods so far in the Modders Edition engine can only be run in 3D FX mode. So that's that, 3D FX glide. I guess I'll have to maybe do a little checking there. And actually, let me go through this too. Okay, step left, step right, and I think that is everything to do there. Yeah, okay. Oh, and actually, I guess here we'll do density and view range up to max, just because, oh, and you know what, maybe I'll do textures up to high. Okay, and then remember, 3DFX Glide can only support up to the 1024, and I think that's that covered. So, again, eventually there might be a direct 3D patch on its way for the Modders Edition engine mods, or the ME mods. Right now, though, more than likely it's going to be a ways off, and I think there's still just like a lot to be done. I don't know if Ollie is actually coding this all on their own, or they do have a team, but we're going to get into the really good stuff in a little bit after we go over some of these. Binocular text is a bit hard to read at the moment, but fix for that is on the way. That's probably when you actually are in-game and you go over an animal. Maybe the font is a little blurred or meshed, or again, we'll see in-game what that's like. And the last little bit is Sniper rifle scope is a little wonky, but again, fixed in development. We're probably not going to... we'll have to see. I'll try to preview all the new stuff in this build, and it definitely will be included down in the description what all is of this build. But now we're going to get into the good stuff, so we're going to actually hop into the hunt menu to go over it. So the Stegosaurus, if you guys do follow Saurian Target on Twitter, you might have seen what they're already expanding in with them. So there's a new Stegosaurus model with mortal zones. That was the Carnivores Reborn model, which was ported over by Dino Nerd 1000 and compressed and animated by Tormer. The Stegosaurus is also the first animal to hunt in Genesis, which kind of fitting for how Dinosaur Hunt is with how they place it too. Is now a herd animal, so females will now herd and kind of group up together, which is a very, very new behavior that Carnivores has never supported before. It's basically animals will now herd or pack up, and it's going to be very interesting to see. Uncommon male Stegosaurus can spawn on first 3 maps, more aggressive than females, so they actually do have variable like threat or aggressivity to them. So the females might just run off, but you might have the males actually go after you and try to take you out. Again, very, very cool to have now actually available. Uncommon Desert Stegosaurus spawns only on Bazinda Desert, herd animal. So it seems like the uncommon ones might actually herd up on Bazinda. I don't think we'll go to that map this episode. I'm not sure how many check-ins I want to do like so much after each other, but I do want to talk about like some of the big changes. So that, and rare albino Stegosaurus has an extremely small chance of spawning on the first 3 maps. That's another really nice thing, is you can tie not just ambient animals to maps, but variants of certain animals too. Like, this just goes to show you, despite the age of the base game, what coding and people who know and are incredibly talented can bring out so much potential in it. So albino animals that you might be able to see on maps that make trophy hunting so much more impactful. It is really amazing to have all this coming into Carnivores, and just how it fleshes and expands it out. And if we keep going, down to the Utah Raptor, new Utah Raptor model with mortal zones, Carnivores Mobile port model, ported by Mach F, compressed by Tormer, and animated by Starfreak. So there's a whole team working and helping alongside Carnivoresgenesis, as you can tell by all the names. And it is, I admit I've never seen that because I haven't really played the Carnivores Mobile. I don't have a way to really be able to capture it, so I figure it'd be better to save that as like a blind playthrough for me on the channel than just play in my own time. And Utah Raptor is now a pack animal. So again, very interesting what they could put together and tie together like that. We probably won't preview the Utah Raptors though. I think we're just going to use the check-in to go after the Stegosauruses and really investigate them. And what next? Ichthyornis, modeled and animated by Ollie, will spawn near coasts on all maps. Not planned for final release, just keeping it around for now, show off the feature. And the reason why they're doing that for the Ichthyornis is I believe it's actually the first ambient animal actually has transition from being on the ground to being airborne. Well, I guess ground to air, just so you guys see my fingers on screen. So that is very cool to be able to actually have in-game, is you can have maybe the Pteranodons will land somewhere, or Morphodons will land, and also take off when startled, or just because. It's very interesting. And another really nice touch of realism, certain dinosaur calls will scare away certain dinosaurs. A Tyrannosaurus call will scare away smaller dinosaurs like Stegosaurus, or even Dilophosaurus. That's a nice touch of like realism and behavior to them now. Before it used to work, if you used a carnivore call, I think all the ambient animals would run off, and I don't know if the actual like trophy animals would or not. Maybe it was just the ambients would reply or like hear. Actually, I'm not sure now. Basically, it was the carnivores would be unfazed by carnivore calls, and the herbivores might have been phased by the carnivore calls. Now, if you make a Rex call, everything's going to be scared off, even like Dilophosaurus. Probably not Carnotaurus, but like anything much smaller and that would see it as a threat would be scared away. Very, very cool. And the last little points I think I have from the email Saurian kind of sent me were new starting rifle model. Wait, new starting rifle? It is a new starting rifle, ooh! New starting rifle modeled and animated by Mertbert. So, Master Weaponsmith for Carnivores, Bert, had their own hand in this, and they've had their hand in this as well, because I believe the Rex Wrecker was another thing that Mertbert was working on too. I think there's probably even more through this, but yeah, it is great to see all this kind of stuff coming together for the game. And then the last thing is polished and tweaked weapon skins and sounds. So that, I think, covers all the updates of this build. And with that all kind of done, I think what we'll do is we'll just take the rifle, go for Stegosaurus on Turin Woodland. Actually, I probably should go through the maps, because I do recognize a few names that stand out. First being, I think, Turin Woodland. This, I believe, is a new one. Traki we've seen before, Bazinda we've seen. Look at that picture from Vatar. It looks... Oh, endemic species. So I think that means that's what animals are actually, like, tied to the map you might come across. God, there's so much that I would love to go into more, but I don't want to go too heavily into stuff that might still be in development. But, yeah, so Turin Woodland's a new one. Looks like Ruins of Vatar might have either gotten a new picture for the menu, or might even have had a bit of a revamp. It looks like a very dense, spooky jungle now. Morbazad, we've seen. Forzen, we've seen. Ashes of Eden, we have also seen. But the new one, or might just even be a name change, but the Nibelungen Paradise. Yeah, there is a lot here, but again, now that we've gone through all the build details, let's actually go into what we might find in a hunt ourselves. So let's hop right in and see how it goes. Huh. Okay, well, we are kind of loaded up, but I just noticed a problem, so give me a moment here. Okay, so there is a bit of a quirk that I took a bit of figuring out what's going on, but normally when I would do the Carnivore series, I would hit the tilde key, and that would bring up an option to, like, enter a console command to change the resolution of the game. It seems like at the current state for the Modders Edition engine, or... Ooh, actually, I better crouch. Oh, wait, that's a... Okay, that's odd. Now let's... instead of a toggle, you have to hold that. And then, I'm not running, am I? Okay, there we go. Yes, I'm moving a bit slower now. There we go. Okay, yes, binoculars. So, again, before I get too sidetracked with what's happening, I normally have, like, a... You press the tilde key that gives you your console commands, and you could resize the resolution of what you're playing for what you desire. Because of, I guess, the way programming is right now, that's actually not available. So, this is the best resolution I can get for you guys. The 1024 by 7 something? I don't actually know, because I don't... Maybe 768 or something like that. But yeah, for binoculars, we can see what they were talking about for that. Ooh, I do like all the details on the new rifle, though. And then we do have the Stegosaurus right out there. Oh, and I think you might... I don't know if that was just because of the way it was turned, but maybe there's even actually a different, like, colored one. Oh, then you got one on its own out there. Yeah, so you can see they actually do, like, herd up into a group like that. It's really cool to see this behavior from, like, how Carnivores has been, and it just feels a little more advanced and forward for what we've really been used to seeing. And those are all the Ichthyornis up there. Just looking around to see if there might have been anything, like, towards the ground or not. Oh, but actually... There's a new animation right there, too. Is that the Stegos will actually sleep now. Oh. And I think I did something to freeze up the game. Okay, so those are the sort of, like, lag spikes or freezes that the game... that Saurian mentioned when we were going over the build. Oh, look at that. The Ichthyornis actually are landing in the water. Now... Again, for its age, this is very impressive and amazing that these, like, functions are available now. You have the Ichthyornis can land or go airborne. You have the Stegos that, instead of just having, like, an idle eat animation, can also have just a sleep and a rest as well. I'm sure I want to use the rifle to hunt them right now, to be honest, but... Oh, did I scare you off? Hard to say. It looks like maybe I might have. Oh, I think that's our uncommon Stego that was mentioned in the build notes. And then you actually hear the Ichthyornis with their ambience. Actually, hang on, was that? Okay, yes, I think you're the one that's the uncommon. You probably are, because I think you're actually, like, coming after us. Oh, I should turn on the trank so that way he doesn't go away too quick on us, but... Yeah, so you can see this guy is a little bit different for coloration. The plates have some, almost like tiger striping around them. And there's a bit darker coloration on them than all these other stegos. No, there's actually another matching back there, so... The females are more of like the duller brown and gray. And perhaps this is a male that has the more coloration, almost like the courting display on them. But it is cool just to see how the Modders Edition engine is opened up so much possibility. There's still development and work to be done. Like I say, I didn't realize that I wouldn't be able to resize the resolution like I've been doing. And there are some files and things that are definitely going to go through changes for when it actually goes to public. What's in use right now is more just there to make sure the game runs and be able to test and further develop it. Oh, what was... Oh, just a Metrodon. But from playing all of the Carnivores mods that I have, seeing the Ichthyornis that can go airborne, land on the water, they actually have sounds that are tied to them when you're right beside them. Got Pteranodon and the Dimorphodon. We have roster animals that have variants in their textures. You can have rare spawns of them. It just makes the game feel much more open and varied. It's incredible what the community's been able to do with it. Yeah, so you can see the male and then the female there. I probably doubt we get lucky to see... Ooh. The map also looks like it's even a bit larger and has some more polish to it. I do like, actually, that's almost like the Mist device where you have the hearing and... Or no, I think the top is visual and the bottom's hearing for, like, detectors. Now, they're not going to actually work as Dinosaur Hunt does. It's more, I think, just for aesthetic. But still, it's great to see little touches like that there and present. And yeah, there's, again, just a sleeping Stegosaurus like we've seen in Dinosaur Hunt. It really is amazing. You really have to give credit to Ollie, who's programmed, and maybe the team he's working with, or just himself, or themself. I actually don't know much about them. You have to give credit to these very talented individuals who are really pushing and making so much possible. I actually think that's another different colored stego back there, too. It's like, you're kind of like the dull gray and pale on you two. You have... Or maybe you're just one of those. I want to head over and see. Like, we're not going to be out here for very long, just because we've really covered majority of what the really new stuff is. But again, this is incredible just to see in action, and it's well, maybe not physically, but it is tangibly there. I was going to say, it's not physically there, because we're playing this on, like, through a computer and that still, but yeah, this is amazing to see this advancement. Okay, so you're actually just two females from looks of it. Like, having just that little bit of behavioral change, that these are more like females, more likely to run off, that male actually came charging in. It's really branching into what's possible for Carnivores as a series. The style of Carnivores, I think, can remain consistent. It doesn't need any updating. But just that these new potential and, like, new mechanics can be put in. Oh, I'm looking very forward to, like, as this keeps developing and going along. Uh-oh. Oh, this is actually interesting. It's actually a 3-shot rifle. Yeah, I'll get another one of you guys down, just to get a little bit of a look in again. But it's a 3-shot rifle. I do almost wish there was a texture or a way you could almost say, like, a little red line, as in, this is when your next round is going to start a reload animation. I don't think it'd be anything to program in, but maybe just, like, oh, see, I don't know actually how that works, if it actually does texture the entire clip, or it's just each individual bullet, and just carries that along. I thought maybe something like that would be an interesting little visual indicator of, okay, this is your last round, you're going to go through a reload once it's used. So it kind of gives you a little bit more of that timing to understand, like, for this rifle, when you will reload with it. But, oh man, this is... It's amazing to see all the talent and effort in that really coming together that everybody's been putting into the Modders Edition engine with its programming and Carnivores Genesis as a Redux. It's still got a lot of work to be done, but it's still... I guess it's probably looking at almost like a skyscraper coming together. You can slowly see as the framing builds up and how it keeps getting its height and slowly goes further and further until it's completed. It's just Saurian Target and his team working on the Redux, and Ollie, and if they have a team or not, really deserve a lot of praise for how they're pushing the boundaries of this game. Like, it's... Carnivores, I think the original game is over 22 years old now. Maybe Carnivores 2 is a little bit towards the 20 mark or so, but yeah, for as old as that is, and there's all this new potential being put into it, it is absolutely stunning to be able to see firsthand. Now, no, is that a different color? No, that's just a regular one, I think. There might be one further back, though, looked a bit different. Oh, no, that's just the fog as they're rendering in. Okay. Because, again, I was thinking, will we actually see an albino stego this one? But no, I doubt it. But, oh, it's just amazing to be able to be a part of this. Like, I'm not really anything special here. I just have a chance to be able to show off this hard work, this dedication that everybody else is doing, and to highly recommend you guys support and just give them your praise for such talent and effort. It is amazing to see it develop to this stage. Oh, and to be able to, like, be even just a small part of it is an amazing honor to have. It really is. It does feel groundbreaking. And it is. Because a lot of Carnivores, like, beforehand, has been fairly restricted to what you could really do with it. Like, there were some pretty creative ideas that would go through it, such as, like, even if we want to look way back to the Thunderbird in, Middle Islands, where it can be on the ground, but its run animation is actually, it's flying and is leaving like it does. Or, like, the Ichthyornis here, who can be on water or on land. And if you actually get close enough, they'll take off and they'll fly away. And I'm just going to take one down so we can get a look at them. But yeah, look at this. It's a lot more added to it. I could go on for probably hours just praising this, and even the texture work is very well done on these guys. Like, it's very impressive what's all here. Again, the Ichthyornis is more not going to be included in the mod, but it's just a showcasing of what the Mars Edition is possible to, like, bring and do. It is amazing to have, like, seen the original Genesis and played original mods, and then all of a sudden it's like a new life and new possibilities are just wide open with it. But I'm going to leave this episode of the Carnivores Genesis Redux check-in here. Again, I think this previewed majority of the big changes with what still has to be developed. I don't want to go into too much of the work in progress, but Saurian, thank you so much for giving us the opportunity to take a look at what's on the way and all of the hard work and care you, your team, and everybody you've collaborated with has already put in. Just from this alone, Carnivores Genesis is going to be an amazing product when it actually is released and it's fully done, but thank you just so much for this opportunity. And if you guys do like Saurian Target and all the work he does, there's always going to be a description to his channel down in the link below. Or, sorry, there's going to be a link to his channel in the description below. you can tell my mind is completely blown away by what we've been able to just see already. But yeah, do give us your support, check him out. He's a very, very talented creator and really has the true passion for carnivores, the community, and the products itself. Oh, this has just been amazing to see myself. But with that, again, I'm going to wrap up. If you guys did enjoy this little sneak peek, be sure to give the video a like. If you have any comments, tips, or tricks, be sure to leave them in the comments right down below. If you do have any feedback or comments for Saurian, be sure to check out his channels, his videos, and his Twitter. He is... I really should probably be a bit more active in the Carnivores community Discord myself, but I know he's pretty active there, and if you do have feedback or things for him, to try to get a hold of him through there. But it's been amazing and great to be able to bring this opportunity to you guys and be given it myself. Until I catch you all next video, though, survivors, please remember, as always, to take care and stay alive.